What's up, guys? It's Captain Trucker here. Thanks for coming back to the channel. Please subscribe. In this video I want to talk about why it's really not a good idea to move to the Philippines simply to save money, if that's your whole goal as a retiree. I want to talk about why that's really a bad idea. And I want to talk about my experiences when I first came to the Philippines and sort of how I balanced my life of, you know, being a truck driver here in the US and balancing going back and forth between the Philippines and being a father and so forth. By the way, right now I'm somewhere in I think Tennessee, in the middle of nowhere on the side of the road. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I've said this before, you know, a lot of retirees, like if you're moving to the Philippines simply to save money, if that's your whole goal, I would strongly advise against it, okay? And it's one of the reasons why on my channel I'm always talking about simplicity and minimalism and changing your mindset and so forth, because a lot of Westerners, they're not prepared for the conditions of the Philippines. And I want to be totally straight with you guys about this because, you know, generally on vlogs we want to be positive, we want to have positive energy, we want to have a positive message, and we tend to show good things about the Philippines because there is a lot of good things, there's a lot of beauty, but there's also a lot of poverty that's very real, okay? And it has an effect on you, and it's hard to simply ignore, especially for a Westerner, an American, even Europeans. There's a certain collective energy that comes when you're around poverty or people that are really struggling, people that have nothing, people that are living bare minimum, people that have health conditions, people that get their hands amputated because they get an infection, they can't afford antibiotics. That kind of stuff is real, and that does happen in these countries, okay? And I'm not trying to be negative, I just want to be straight with you guys because I feel a responsibility to as a vlogger. Folks, not all Philippines is going to be like Dumaguete. It's not going to be like BGC. It's not going to be like Cebu. It's not going to be like being in El Nido or parts of Puerto Princesa. A lot of the Philippines is very, very underdeveloped, and the fact is a lot of the Philippines is poor, okay? Of course you have wealthy families in the Philippines. You have money in the Philippines, no doubt. But a lot of foreigners, we're not getting really the full picture, I'm sorry to say. And like I said, generally we want to say positive things. I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful either, but we got to be realistic, okay? Now, when I say don't move to the Philippines just to save money, I mean that. Because I'm still seeing these social security campaigns, man, you know, with the thumbnails and the AI, beautiful beach in the background and the hot Filipino women. Guys, you're not going to be living some Western material lifestyle off your social security check in the Philippines anymore. You know, maybe 20 years ago, $1,400–1,500 was good to live a decent lifestyle, but those days are over, man. And I try not to put specific money on budgets for living in the Philippines, but I will say this. I'd say unless you're packing at least $2,000, $2 to $3,000 a month as a retiree, I'd say don't move. Because you got to make sure you have what you're going to be comfortable with. You want to be able to make sure you can travel. You want to make sure you have health insurance and so forth. And you don't want to get stuck either, man. You know, when I first came to the Philippines, like, guys, I had nothing, man. I was broke, okay? And for different reasons, we'll get into that later, but it wasn't easy, you know? And it took me a long time to work and to sort of build myself up again financially and to invest in just endless truck driving and going back and forth. I mean, I spent dozens of thousands of dollars traveling back and forth to the Philippines over the years. you know, to balance being a father, to save money, to work. And I'm happy I was able to do it. But had I not been young enough and fit enough and the opportunity, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I would have been in a bad situation. And so there's a lot of retirees that still go to these countries and they end up in dire straits, man. Okay? If you're just going there like with your Social Security, I'd say have at least $50,000 to $100,000 saved to have a cushion to be able to build, you know, a small house or live in a condo or something like this, okay? Don't go out there with no savings, for sure. And yeah, so if you're just going there to save money with this kind of mentality that we have, because we're always looking at money in the West, we're always equating money and materialism to lifestyle. Guys, it's not going to be the same, all right? And you got to be really skeptical about some of the campaigns we're seeing in general, all right? Now, a lot of vloggers, they're already established, man. They have decent lives. They probably have income. They probably have income from YouTube. But a lot of retirees, man, they're not going to have the abilities to even move out there with a little bit of money and run some successful YouTube channel, okay? Not everybody's going to be able to do that. Sorry, I got sweat in my eyes. I'm not crying. So it's just something to keep in mind, all right? And I'm not trying to discourage anybody from moving there. I think it's a great idea. But you got to do it for like the right reasons, guys. You want to do it for the cultural experience, all right? To live a different lifestyle. Because that's why I'm always talking about minimalism and stuff. Because if you don't have those mindsets, you're not going to be able to appreciate it, okay? Because you're going to a very different culture, a slow pace island lifestyle. Not everything moves fast, okay? I mean, even with money, you still got to wait for things. I mean, the world isn't going to change just because you have some money. People aren't necessarily going to wait on you hand and foot, right? So you don't want to become the expat that ends up disillusioned and complains because things aren't the same, basically, because they're not. Man, I got sweat in my eyes. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, what I was saying is that, guys, if you're like broke in the Philippines as an expat, you get a lot of miserable expats out there, man, okay? Because they're not equipped for the country, they're not equipped for the culture, and they have a really hard time there, all right? And like I said, I've been on both sides. I've lived in the Philippines like with no money, and now that I have money, I know the difference. But the key that changed, it wasn't all the money, man, it was my mentality, okay? I learned to embrace the difference of the culture, okay? Of a non-industrial society, of a society that doesn't eat, breathe, and live making money and working, that values really spending time with the family. And, you know, like, at first when I was there, it took me like a long time to adjust to it. It's always like you got to be doing something, you know what I mean? Like when you live in America, we're very regimed here. We got to like be productive and be doing something. See, a lot of Filipinos, they're content, okay? And that word content is something that I've came to appreciate more being in such countries, to be content, okay? A lot of us have trouble with that, but it's something to be embraced. Yeah, it was really hard for me, man. Like when I first went to the Philippines, guys, I had like $500, man. When I became like a father, I mean, can you imagine the stress level? It was really, really hard, man. It was very stressful. The first couple years of truck driving, going back and forth multiple times, it was hard, you know, and I didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew about it. When I first went to the Philippines, guys, I had no friends. I didn't know anybody in the Philippines. I didn't even watch YouTube channels. I don't know, I wasn't into it. I just didn't watch them. I had no friends, I had no money. And if you're an older person and you get in that situation, you can get into serious, serious trouble, okay? All right? And that's all I'm saying. I don't want to discourage people from moving out there. You should move out there, but you got to do it for the right reasons. And that's why, for me, I had to change my way of thinking, you know? because like I said, like the poverty was on a whole different level, man. Especially when you're not doing the bougie lifestyle thing, which I wasn't at the time, of course, because I had no money, man. I've lived like in the provinces, like in lower income Philippine situations, sharing houses and stuff like that. And it took a while to adjust to it. It really did. I'm not joking. You think you can maybe, but it does take a while to adjust to it, and it's a very real thing. There's just a different type of energy too. Like I said, in the West, like in this country, there's something that comes with, you know, making money and in that frequency. I always say describe it as like a frequency. There is a different overall frequency that I feel in the Philippines versus the US, and it's distinctive, okay? But again, even if you have some money, okay, and you can't just shut yourself into a house or a condo all day, because that's not going to be a good life either, right? You're going to want to get out, you're going to want to have friends, you're going to want to mingle with people, okay? But you will see like real poverty, and like I said, you know, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, guys. Poverty is a real thing, all right? And people out there really do struggle. And there's a lot of people in serious desperation. And there's a lot of foreigners that have gone there for their own selfish interest and have sort of added to some of these problems. See, I have different theories about, you know, Filipino scammers, if you will. I think in a sense you can make the argument that, you know, Westerners almost created that market in a way, okay? I mean, the military left behind dozens of thousands of kids without citizenship, without money, the US military, all right? And the Filipinos still welcome us with open arms. They still take care of our children. They still welcome us as tourists. And that's a testament to them, to their, sorry, again, I'm not crying. I got sweat in my eyes. But that's a testament to them and the beauty of their culture. And it's something that sometimes we can come to not appreciate, and we should appreciate more. So again, folks, if you're retired and you want to move to the Philippines, do not make money the main reason for your decision for moving there, because if you do, you'll be disappointed. Do it for the right reasons. Do it because you're in love with a Filipino. You want to embrace a new culture, okay? For the adventure, for the change, to challenge yourself. These are the reasons why we should do it. And then we'll be better foreigners as we're there. Get involved in the community. Figure out how you can help. You know, don't sit around and, you know, be like, oh my goodness, what did I get into? Get involved, you know, help the community. Start a YouTube channel, do something. And you'll learn from it. But it might take you a while to adjust, but you can. Just have a positive attitude. And you know, like I said, if you're going out there just with your social security check and nothing else, I'd say that's a bad idea. So embrace the Philippines for the right reasons, folks. Embrace the change. Anyway, it's Captain Trucker. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, guys. Please subscribe.